Merry Christmas from the wishbone old fucks. Want to thank Big T and all the giblets and time we spent on the workbench with the ladies this past year, even though 2020 sucks. Carson Wentz sucks. Not a top 5 quarterback. Might not even have a fucking job next year. Our dicks are big, and next year we're looking for better things and more workbench time. Listen, when you're talking about the workbench, you better be fucking eating ass, licking clit all day, twice on Sunday. Let's fucking go. Ready to roll. Ready to roll. Ready to roll. And listen, Big T. Big T. Keep running pure, and Wentz sucks ass.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Rumpier Sports Showdown / NBA Hardwood video for Monday night here. Got a little double action showdown slate with the Bills and the Patriots, and then a 5-game NBA slate. So we're going to go through and cover it all. The football game's not all that great, but the basketball action is just, loaded up with tons of news, tons of plays. It's going to be a fun one. Definitely more excited to talk NBA than this NFL showdown slate, but we're going to go through both. As always, joined by Mr. Big T, the giblet maker himself. What's going on?
What's up? Yeah, we were talking before the show. Fun night. I love the nights where you got a couple things going on. We got the showdown, and we got a 5-game slate. Last week we had a few of these monster slates that I just like. We did the show on the 13-gamer, and I just hate how big those are. 5 games. It's just perfect. No matter what news hits, you feel like you can kind of get it covered. Just love it. So I'm excited for the night. Lots of big prize pools. Fun time to try to get the giblets here tonight.
Yeah, I mean, these are you see a 5-game NBA slate, and like, you'll be able to manage the news. If this is an indicator of what's going to happen all season, which I think it is, man, it's going to be a wild ride in the NBA. I mean, just tons of news out of the gate here. Tons of stars out. Kevin Durant ruled out earlier. Kyrie Irving ruled out a little bit later in the day. We already had the Pistons value with Blake, Derrick Rose out. LeBron potentially resting. I don't think he's going to play. We'll cover it, though, when we get to NBA. But there is a ton of news. And you had tweeted out yesterday, and it makes a lot of sense. If you're not using some sort of site to guide you through this NBA stuff, even if you're a seasoned DFS player, man, you're doing it wrong, because it's crazy to keep up with it. I mean, if you were just sitting down, just analyzing NBA all day, like a lot of people do, still hard to keep up with the news. I mean, it's wild.
You just got no chance. Like, you literally don't. I would love to see the person that works a 9 to 5, that plays NBA and doesn't use any site profit. I would, and if say you hate us, you freaking despise me and Hoop. You don't want our site. There's other sites. You better subscribe somewhere, even if you hate us. We're not saying it just to get you to be a member here. I mean, we are, but you're just not going to win at NBA. There's too much news. There's too many moving parts that you just have to subscribe to, if not one, multiple sites.
Yeah. So
And be in
I mean,
the
honestly,
Discord, like there's no way you got to be in the Discord during NBA, because once that news hits, you get it so much quicker than anywhere else. People active in there. It's what you need to do.
yeah. So speaking of the news and how to handle it, I know we were on the wood yesterday, and I said Buckets 15 was done as of yesterday, but man, people love the promo code Buckets 15, so we're gonna keep it going for at least one more day because we got this big show going for the Showdown and NBA. So Buckets 15. I mean, if you watch us, you've heard the spiel. I feel like I've said it like 100 times now. 15% off for life, any package on our website, as long as you don't cancel or pause your subscription. The 15% is extended. You can do DFS, you can do DFS and bets, can do just the playbook stuff, just the Showdown stuff. I mean, any package. We have it all split up. So you use Buckets 15 at checkout, you get 15% off for life. And then, one thing I wanted you to kind of touch on, we're talking about all this NBA news. And when we get to the NBA stuff, we're going to talk about a new piece of content that we rolled out today that we've been working on, which we're really excited about. We'll talk about that later. But for now, since we're talking about the news, just give us a rundown of, how people can use our product to handle the news. To me, I think the most valuable piece is definitely our Discord chat. I mean, hundreds of people, thousands of people now at this point in there talking about it as it breaks. You're getting, the reactions from not only our coordinators, but people in the chat that are in there chatting all day long, digging into the news. You're not going to miss anything, but you talk about it and let the people know like what we offer that can help people handle the news.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, like you said, the Discord, when you sign up at RunPure, definitely the first thing you should do without a doubt is get in the Discord, no matter what sport. Playing college sports, we got Steve right now. We got Bruce working on these two. We got bowl games every day. Tons of news with COVID these days. Once hockey starts, I'm sure the same thing. Football, you just need to be in the Discord. Number one, I mean, that's where you start. And then after that, definitely just get on the site. And I'm not sure if Simon's screen sharing yet, but I'll pull up, like, we got this new piece for NBA that we're going to have cash charts on there where you guys are going to have, you and Mangone are going to have your top cash plays on the site. I can screen share right now. Usually we won't show it, obviously, but you guys are going to have the green plays, and we can talk more about this when we get to NBA.
Yeah, when we get to the NBA, we'll cover that. I mean, right now, just like the news. I mean, if NBA, the news is more important than anything else. So, our Discord chat, like I said, okay, Simon has it up now. So basically, the idea behind this piece of content is instead of, we have our core plays for NBA, we want to take it a step further, because a lot of times when you're building cash games specifically, and this can be used for GPPs as well, which we'll talk about later, but when you're building a cash team, it's not necessarily just the core. You need to understand the viable plays at the other positions as well, and how you can fill out the rest of your team. So it's up there now on the screen. You can see, point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward. The core plays are going to be highlighted in green. And then you can use these other plays that we have listed to fill out the rest of your lineup. You can definitely use it for GPPs as well. Brand new piece of content. No one else is really doing anything like this in the industry, so we're excited about it. And obviously, this is part of the package. I know, Tony, you kind of developed this, so if there's anything I missed, feel free to add on there.
So I know a lot of people in the Discord were asking questions too, like, well, what if it's tournament this or cash that? Like, even if you're playing tournament in basketball, the best plays are still the best plays. So sure, you can pivot off some chalky plays in certain spots, but for the most part, if you're living off this sheet, you're in good shape. And it's say you have a tournament play or two you like, that's even better. Plug those two in first, and then circle back to the cash sheet. We'll plug in these type of locks. Just because it's cash doesn't mean anything. In basketball, they're the best plays still. You should be living off this sheet, especially like, say you get to the last spot on your team. I got whatever 4K for a position. You come in here, look at who the best plays are on here is your filler type plays. So I like it, and I think it's way better than the tiers. Like, we were doing tiers, we'd go in and list like 3 plays each from each spot, and I just didn't feel like we were giving enough to the people. So we wanted to do a better product. I know Mangone kind of came up with the idea. I like it.
Great idea. And then another way you can use it if you're a GPP player is let's say you have a GPP core guys that you really like and you know they're going to be very low owned. Like if you have guys that really low ownership, you can come here because in NBA you don't want to be totally off the reservation in GPPs. You don't want to totally fade the chalk plays. You don't want to totally, you don't want a ton of single owned guys like in other sports that you might. In this sport, in NBA, like you can come to this sheet and then you can kind of fill it in with some higher owned guys that might be more stable to pair up with your more contrarian type play. So a lot of different ways you can use this sheet. But like I said, we'll talk about it a little bit more when we get to NBA. First, we're going to do the Showdown slate. And I mean, it's just not.
You talked about the news. I might as well show it when we got it up, but we got.
Yeah.
So if you go to the news on there, we're going to have this updated too as the news hits. Just little stuff, but I mean, like Brooklyn, Kyrie out tonight. All the news will be on this sheet on there too, which might not sound like a lot, but say one day you're working at your job and you just haven't paid attention all day. Pull this sheet up. Like right now, someone's up in here updating it right now. It looks like Mangone updated Capella to play in the 20s tonight. Right there. I didn't know that. We're on the show. I wasn't paying attention. So there's an update on the sheet. And it just gets you caught up. If you use all this stuff, I think a lot of people subscribe to the site and don't really even know all the stuff we're doing. So we want to be better with showing you guys all the stuff that we're putting out there.
As always, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. That way we can continue to do these shows for free and not necessarily put them all behind a paywall. So make sure you hit like, you hit subscribe. After us, we're going to get out of here probably a little after 6 Eastern, 6:15 Eastern. Then you have JSU and Holden bringing you up to lock. That show kicks off, I believe, at 6:45 Eastern today. That is part of our premium package. So hit like, hit subscribe. In about 10 minutes, I'll come back on here, see how many people we have, and then, pick a number in terms of likes to give out some gear. So let's hop into this one. It's the Bills and it's the Patriots. And I mean, the Patriots have been a tough team from a fantasy perspective all season long. If they're playing with a lead, the fantasy output in the game is typically very low. But this is a different matchup. I mean, the Bills offense have been probably one of the best, maybe the best offense in football the last few weeks. They're favored by 7. The total is 47 in this game. We know Josh Allen is the best player on the slate. He's going to most likely, 95% of the time be the highest scoring dude on this slate specifically. Let's talk about the Bills side first, because the Patriots, it's pretty easy on the Patriots side. So on the Bills side, you have Josh Allen. You got guys like Diggs. It sounded like John Brown was going to come back and play. So he was actually activated off the IR, and they immediately put him on the COVID list. So he's not going to play. If he did play, it was a great play. I mean, 2.8K on DK is 5K on FanDuel, which is a stone minimum, but he's out. Brings a guy like Gabriel Davis back into the mix. So talk about Allen and some of the pass catchers here for the Bills.
Yeah, tonight the tough part's for sure going to be kind of how it usually is on FanDuel. Like, how do we get different? How do we maximize the upside of a guy like Josh Allen without just putting him just in the captain, which is definitely the easy way to do it. Just plug him in there, put some pass catchers in there, run it back with some cheap guys. That's what everyone's going to do, like always. So you look at it without John Brown. Obviously, Diggs, Beasley, Gabe Davis are the type guys. Isaiah McKenzie has been a guy that has at least shown the ability to score touchdowns. And I don't know, he's cheap. He fits even the tight ends. I mean, you got Dawson Knox. Lee Smith doesn't play a ton, but again, 400. You never know when those salary savers kind of come in to help you fill out your roster. So, like usual, I mean, if you're plugging him in the captain, you're going to want 2 pass catchers, even with a guy like him. The decision for me, I think a better starting point is, what do we do with freaking New England? Because last time when they were on the slate, I think it was their last game at least, Cam gets benched. They look awful, and they bring in the backup. They're not playing for anything. Was that 2 weeks ago he got benched? Or was it the Miami game?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I'm not sure. It was a couple weeks. I mean, I hate watching the Patriots play football.
It's the worst.
It's painful, man. It's painful. It's painful.
I mean, to be honest, like, Cam has been bad all season. So naturally, I don't want to play him, and I'm even more concerned because now they're not playing for anything.
Yeah.
If he goes bad, like he's just going to get pulled, I think. And I wouldn't be shocked if they pull him anyways and put whoever in there. So I think if he's a fade, like how do we treat New England? I think is what we need to figure out how to attack this.
Yeah, I mean, so let's lock in the. I mean, it's not a complicated slate for the most part. We know the plays, so let's lock in the Bills. I mean, it's Josh Allen. I think. I mean, Diggs has been the connection between those two has just been absolutely phenomenal. Hasn't had less than 9 targets in the last like 10 weeks. 11 catches, 10 catches, 10 catches, 7 catches, 10, 9. Like that's unheard of, honestly. I mean, that number is unheard of. So I really like him. And I guess, maybe if he continues to get that volume, maybe he has a chance to beat out Allen. I just can't imagine really playing anyone else in the MVP or in the captain spot than Josh Allen and Diggs. Is there anyone else you see that you could potentially play up there?
So the issue I have with Diggs even is like we just know how Belichick loves to take away the ones. I'm at least a little worried about them just trying to take Diggs away with how good he's been, which would open up other captains to me like Beasley, Gabe Davis, and even McKenzie, where I don't know if they're trying to just say in a world where he takes away Diggs somehow, just completely shuts him down. They just roll 2 guys over. They just say, you're not gonna beat us. Someone else is gonna have to beat us. These guys like Gabe Davis, I think Gabe Davis could be one of the best captains because of that.
Okay.
He's a stud. He's treated us right all season. He's one of these guys that always comes through for us, it feels like, when we talk him up. He's cheap, so that kind of gives us options. And obviously Beasley's been incredible all season. So
they finally got him priced. They finally got him priced. So I mean, he's 10K now. Like he's more expensive.
It's going to make him low own though.
I think it will. Yeah, I think it will. I mean, he's 1,000 more than Cam Newton. Like 1,000 more than Cam Newton, a quarterback. Like, yeah, I think his ownership comes in pretty low because of that. Big. I mean, he's a guy that a few weeks ago we were paying on these Showdown slates like 6K for. He's like 6'5" or somewhere in that range. He's now 10K, and I think that does bring his ownership down quite a bit. Maybe it's a good leverage spot.
Yeah, I agree. Like a really good leverage spot. He's shown upside, and I just can't stop thinking if they shut down Diggs, he could have a monster game. And so I think that I was eliminating him as you were talking.
Yeah.
I think Josh Allen, Diggs, Beasley, Gabe Davis, and even Isaiah McKenzie would be my captain pool, just because I don't think I'm going to even play Diggs. I'm at least worried. Are you worried about that? You're not as worried as I am?
I mean, with the Patriots without much to play for, I mean, how motivated are they going to be to shut down Diggs? I mean, maybe they are. I mean, Belichick is a very smart. They went 6 for 92 against them earlier on in the season. I mean, not the greatest, but 6 for 92.
That'll probably be on the winner tonight, probably.
Yeah. So
15?
yeah, 6 for 92 is early middle of the season, basically. Put up 15, and 15 is going to be good enough tonight to be in the winner. Obviously, I mean, probably not good enough to be in the MVP, but yeah, I don't know. I love Gabe Day. I mean, with the Bills, it's just very simple. I mean, I think we've been pretty accurate with this team. I just can't play these running backs, and they're actually priced at a point where they have to do something. Singletary is 7.6. Moss is 7.4. I mean, they're like 5K dudes. Like they're just overpriced. They need to, even if they score a touchdown, I mean, it'd probably be good enough on this slate, but at those price tags, I can't imagine playing Singletary or Moss. I mean, they both essentially busted last week. Singletary got the long touchdown when the game was totally out of hand. I mean, prior to that touchdown, he had 7 carries for like 30 yards and 3 catches. Like, I can't imagine playing either of these dudes.
Yeah, no, I agree. And just running the numbers, I put just those 4 captains in, and Diggs hits 97% of the teams.
Wow.
If you're assuming you fade Cam and you're not putting him in the captain, which means I kind of think that's true. Like you just said it, if he scores 15, he's probably going to be in the winner, which I think even if they shut him down, he's going to get double digits, which still might be in the winner just because of the way the game sets up. And if you're planning on fading Cam, you need some points somewhere and to spend some salary. So I think he's such a good play. But then you look down, like you got Zach Moss only hits 6% and Singletary hits 18%. So 24% total. that looks like fades to me for sure. These are the guys that have screwed us all season, where they'll probably end up having a good game. And I don't want to completely fade them though, just because of the fact that if New England is really, really bad, the running game could bring it home in the second half, where they just give Zach Moss a decent amount of carries, Singletary a decent amount of carries, and just kind of ice this game away. Where, man, New England is just really hard for me. Like,
yeah,
Damiere Byrd and Sony both hit the optimal somehow with this type of build. Like, how would you rank the Patriots as far as your?
I mean, I'm gonna continue to play the pass catchers. I mean, Myers, Bird. I mean, I'm playing those guys for sure over Michelle, or I mean, James White. I mean,
we gotta write him off.
I just don't get it. Like, people continue to talk about James White like he is a completely different player this season. Like with Cam Newton, and they just don't use them unless it's like they're in contention. And I mean, we saw down the stretch last season when they were really making a push, like he was out there playing a ton. Like, they just don't use them when they're not in contention, or I don't know. Like, I'm definitely off of him. I mean, he's a guy that's typically perfect for DK scoring, but I don't think you can play him. Sony Michel obviously should have a pretty big workload here, but if they're playing from behind, that goes away. So I'm going to just stick with the pass catchers. I mean, it's going to be Myers and Bird is probably my two favorites. The Cam Newton thing's interesting. I mean, you need somebody. You have to play somebody on the Patriots side. You look at his output, man. Like, look at this game log. 5, 24, okay, 5 and 12. I mean, so you're talking 3 out of the last 4 games he has been at 12 or less, and that less than 12 is 5 and 6. Like, 5 and 6 fantasy points in a matchup against probably the hottest team in football right now. I mean, the Bills are just rolling. The case for the fade is strong. I mean, the case for the fade is very, very strong in this matchup. Sounds like that's kind of where you're heading tonight.
Like, I'm not even really considering him, as crazy as it sounds. Like, no one wants to play any New England. I made this mistake last time they were on the Showdown, where I just started playing him just because I wanted his floor. And I knew right away that I was just an idiot for doing it, because he was just terrible and he was super high owned on top of it. So it was a deadly combo. And then he gets pulled on top of that.
Yeah.
So I know people hate doing this, but I literally don't think you're insane for playing the backup. I think he could easily get pulled tonight. And we've seen in these slates, I'm not saying to make it a core play, but if you're playing 20 teams, I don't think it's wrong to play 1 or 2 Stidhams or whatever that backup's name is.
Yeah. So he's gotten reps the last 2 weeks, actually. So against the Chargers, when it was down, they're down. They won 45-0. How the hell did they? Man, they beat the Chargers 45-0. That's insane. And then they got smoked last week against the Rams, and he got in there 7 pass attempts. So it's not the craziest thing. I mean, if
Cam is bad, I can promise you they're going to bring him in as the fan. Like,
yeah, if it's 24-0 at halftime, I mean, definitely would not be. I mean, I'd assume they'd just go to him. I mean, there's just no point to play Cam. So,
and you're going to get him 1% owned. Like, it's just, again, it's a tournament play, but who knows what could happen? We've seen it all season long with random stuff. If Cam gets pulled early and you got this dude at 1% owned, like, you could end up winning the whole thing because of it. It's not an optimal play by any means. You're probably going to lose most of the time doing it, but tournament play.
And it's another one of those things where, we're not saying play 50% Stidham.
Definitely.
You just need a tiny amount to get
1%.
Yeah, way over the field for a tiny amount.
Play 10%. 10% of your team, 5% of your teams play Stidham. Pretend you're going to lose, because you probably will. But you know how good you're going to feel when you see that dude come in the game? It was like when I played. The only time all year I've done it is that RG3 slate, when my boy was warming up the whole game.
What's his?
And then he throws a touchdown at the end of the game. I'm going crazy, but it's the Marquise Brown, my fade. Oh, it was.
Who is it? McSorley, right?
Yeah, McSorley.
Yeah.
It's the best feeling in the world, though, when you do play that backup and they come in, and you got them 1% owned. Just the total freaking nuts.
Few people in the chat asking about NBA. We're going to talk about NBA after we finish up this NFL Showdown talk. A little bit more on DK. We'll talk FanDuel real quick, and then we'll hop into the NBA slate. I'm with you. I'm with you guys in the chat. Like I'd much rather be talking about NBA than this crap, to be honest with you. But we're gonna get through it for sure. Kickers continue to be cheap. I can't imagine playing Folk. I definitely have a lot of interest in Tyler Bass. Bass is what do we got? 3.8K for Bass. Talk about Bass. Bills defense. No, not as high as I thought. Bills defense only 5.4K. So we've seen these spots where they priced up these defenses quite a bit. Not as high, 5.4K. So talk about the Bills D. Talk about Bass.
We're not playing D's anymore. We got.
Oh, that's right. Are we still under the 3-week suspension?
We're taking the oath. I've held strong too. There was a few slates where I really wanted to play a D, but I just said I can't do it. I gave my word to the people. Didn't play them. I'm not going back tonight because and they haven't been on the winner. I'm pretty sure since we said that.
Yeah.
I'm done with it. And honestly, like I'm a lot lower on kickers than I've been too. Like I'm gonna play Bass tonight because I hate New England. But I'm not like I used to try to get these kickers in. I just feel like we haven't seen the upside all that much this year in a lot of spots. I'd rather play the receivers that can get there and stuff. But Bass definitely in play. Defense is definitely not in play. And so what's the number of Patriots? 1 to 2 like we usually do?
Yeah, that's it for me. And I'm gonna probably focus on the pass catchers. I mean, you don't know the motivation with the Patriots here. I mean, a team that's typically in contention this time of year, playing for seeding, they're out of it. And we haven't seen Belichick in this situation all that often. So it could go sideways. I mean, the Bills are just playing so well right now. Who they played, what was it, that Saturday slate last week and just steamrolled the Browns. Like they're playing well. I mean, I'm not playing. I want a limited number of Patriots. So whatever the optimal route is, that's what I want.
and the Bills still want to get the 2 seed so that they're on the opposite. Let me see. What's the exact standings? Let me see. I know they're tied with Pittsburgh probably, right?
Yeah, well, I think they only have 3 losses. Pittsburgh would have 3 as well. Yeah, they're in the 3 seed right now. But if they win, I'm guessing they move up or no? 3. They would be 12, so they'd be tied with the Steelers if they win. So yeah, they want to win. Definitely want to
win. So yeah, I think they're gonna kill them. I mean, the hard part is just what to do with New England. I agree though. I think I'm gonna leave Sony in the player pool just because of floor. Like if we think New England stinks and he somehow just gets that rushing touchdown, the floor could be good enough. Like anybody in double digits for the Patriots, I think has a really good chance to end up on the winner just because I don't see it. And you talked about James White. I forgot to circle back. I think he's one of the easiest. Of course, he's going to score tonight when I say this, but I'm still going to follow through because I'm authentic. He is one of the easiest possible fades because people are going to play him because of his name. And he hasn't got there literally like the whole year. His good games are like 12.
Yeah.
He just hasn't been good at all. I think he's a really easy fade. He'll probably screw us. I mean, that's how kind of the showdown year's gone for us. But we're going to keep fighting with it. I can't even imagine playing him.
I mean,
especially in a meaningless game.
Not on the field much, not getting many rush attempts, and most importantly, is just not getting the targets. They're just not using him. Cam Newton's not capable of using him like he was used last season. So it's not working out. I think I agree. Just an easy fade. Any really cheap plays, like I like McKenzie. I mean, McKenzie is very interesting, especially with John Brown out. They use him in these unique packages, and a lot of times he's in there on the goal line, and that's what you want. And for a guy that's $800, he's definitely my favorite full punt. I want some exposure to him. What are your thoughts on McKenzie and then anyone else down in this dumpster range?
Yeah, I usually like the dumpsters more than I do tonight, which is another reason I kind of want to live in that lower range with the New England guys. Even like Harry at 3,200, I think is in play just because of the price. But my only 2 cheap guys, as I'm looking at my player pool, are McKenzie and Lee Smith. I don't think Lee Smith is a very good play, But again, he's only 400. So if you need the salary, what I like to do with the lineup builder is just have these guys at like 1 point. And if they hit your optimal with 1 point, that means you just don't need anything from them. So if they do score, you're in good shape. I don't like him, but it can work. I don't know if you'll need it tonight, though, without playing Cam. I mean, if you're playing Cam, you're going to need value. But, I mean, you can play like Gabe Davis at 5K, saves you a lot of salary.
My favorite play on the slate by far. And I mean, that's not, right? Yeah, it's just not saying anything crazy. But, I mean, what more do you want? I mean, he's playing for this pass-heavy offense. He gets goal line looks very often. He gets deep looks. Like, he's everything you want in a receiver. He's only 5K. I mean, to me, I think he's a lock button play.
And honestly, like you talked about the two Patriots, Myers at 72 and Bird at 4K are pretty good plays too, even if you don't like New England. They're just so cheap. I mean, 7,200 isn't bad for a guy that got 10 targets last week, 7 for $111.
Yeah.
I like it. And I mean, it makes a lot of sense. I think let's see what FanDuel's got.
Yeah, so FanDuel, I mean, you just have to play Josh Allen in the MVP spot, and it makes it tough to get different. And, we always talk about on these shows, like, don't go crazy on FanDuel. I mean, you're most likely splitting unless you do something very, very crazy. I mean, Big T has come up with some ideas. I'm curious to see if he has any here. I mean, but it's tough. You got Josh Allen. I mean, okay, so I said I kind of like Diggs. I thought Diggs may have had a chance to beat Allen on DK. Just not the case on FanDuel. You're not getting that PPR, and I like him so much on DK because of the PPR. You don't get it on FanDuel. More touchdown dependent site. Making the case for someone to beat Josh Allen is extremely difficult. Do you want to attempt to do it?
So these are my favorite slates, honestly, on FanDuel, and a lot of people won't agree with that, but I like the slates where you can eliminate one of the positions, because even if Josh Allen is 50% in the MVP, which I think he will be, that's half the field I consider dead, because he's always going to be the leading scorer. So if I can start the tournament with half the field dead, I just like that. And you can still get different in other spots, leaving salary, all the same stuff we talked about. So all of a sudden, if you only play one Patriots guy, you eliminate all those people that play 2 or more Patriots guys. And all the little things, as we talk about on all these shows, all the little things that create like 2 and 3% ads, by the end, you're only battling with 10% of the teams. And yeah, you still have to hit your path, which you always have to hit your path to win a tournament anyways. But by doing that and locking them in, all of a sudden, say you play 20 teams and you only lock them on 15 of the 20, and you tried to get risky with the other 5, all of a sudden your edge goes from 100% to 50%, and then it just gets cut in half by going only 75% there. So I think I love these slates. Just jam them in the MVP, figure out the rest after that. And you look at the rest of the prices, especially on the Patriots guys. I mean, you got Myers at 11, Bird at 95, our same guys. But you look at the rest of the team, there just isn't anything there. I'm looking at the cheap. I mean, Dalton Keene, I think maybe more in play on here just because he's 5K, which on FanDuel, the 5K is like getting the 200 guy on DK. And we want the big studs on FanDuel. But for the most part, it's thin. It's thin on here. Like 85, White. I thought Damian Harris was dead. Is he?
He's not playing. No, he's out.
He's not in there.
Yeah, does it say he's questionable? Yeah, he's not. I don't think he's playing. I mean, I was under the assumption that he was out.
I thought he was out too. The lineup builder probably just isn't.
I guess he's technically questionable. Looks like, but I was under the assumption he was out. Who knows? I mean, we'll obviously clarify.
I mean, I don't want to play any of those guys anyways.
Yeah. Yeah, the case, like for a guy like assuming Harris is out, the case for Sony Michel is a little bit stronger on FanDuel, touchdown dependent site. We have, like you said, really like Gabe Davis, 8.5K, very nice price tag on him. Man, I don't know. There's just not much here, honestly. It's tough.
No, it's real tough. And like you said, so all of a sudden we lock in. Let me pull it up. We lock in Josh Allen. We lock in Gabe Davis because he's 8,500. we lock in. More than likely, the way this slate is set up, you're going to need Diggs or Beasley. What happens if you played both? Does it fit? See, that's where my boy comes into play. What's the dude's name? Dalton Keene, or whoever I just talked about.
Yeah.
So, like, if you get a full blowout, it lets you play Josh Allen, Gabe Davis, Diggs, Beasley. It lets you play Allen with his 3 best receivers. Yeah, it seems like this would be popular, right? But it won't be as popular as you think because you're only playing one Patriot, and that's a min-price Dalton Keene. I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all just to play the best guys and just go with it. And it might not be you're not going to unique and you're not going to ship with that, but you could split with 10 people or something that do this.
And a lot of people that use lineup builders, they're, saying if I'm playing a quarterback, I want just 2 wide receivers, not 3. So you're going to eliminate a good portion of people that are kind of building that way. Kickers are definitely tougher.
I think better though is to play McKenzie or Knox.
Yeah.
Over Diggs or Beasley, and then play a good Patriots guy. But that being said, what happens when we do that? Everyone's going to do that, like you said. And all of a sudden, you are a lot more correlated with other people. Whereas if you don't have any Patriots and we get a blowout, you got a chance to ship with this team. So I like it.
Like Tyler Bass is like 9K. You said you didn't really love him on DK. Can't imagine you love the price.
It's hard to play these guys on FanDuel when you only have 5 spots. One of them has to be the other team, and you got a quarterback in the MVP. So all of a sudden, then you're only playing two no matter what. It's fine. I don't like if he gets like 14, 15 points, you might win, but I don't like it. Landa, surprised Tony hasn't given us a Pats build. No, Landa.
Come on, Landa. You've been a loyal follower for a long time, man. Like, Big T better than that. He hates Cam Newton. He hates the Patriots. He'll make the case occasionally for some crazy shit, but this is not one of those occasions.
I can't I got a little excited about Cam too, though. That's why my feelings were hurt. The last time they played, I got a little excited about him being my only Patriots guy. He was gonna give me and he just sucked and broke my heart. Yeah,
it's painful with him. So on FanDuel, if you typically do one, I don't see the need to go bonkers and do 150. I'd really limit my player pool, leave salary on the table.
I think it's the perfect 20-team night. Just lock in Josh Allen, get a little different. I like that.
Yeah, for sure. All right, we're over 400. Let's get to 200 likes, and we'll give out a piece of gear. If we get more viewers, we'll give out an additional piece of gear. So let's get up to 200. We're at 107. So hit the like, hit the subscribe. It helps us out, and we can continue doing these free videos every so often. We're gonna head over and talk NBA, but before we do so, like I said, we were on the wood yesterday. I said Buckets 15 was over as of yesterday. Well, we decided to extend it one more day. So you got one more day to use Buckets 15. It's 15% off your membership at Rumpier Sports for life. As long as you stay on board, don't pause or cancel, that 15% off will hit every month or every week. So Buckets 15 after us, leading you guys right up to lock. Apparently I said it was JSU and Holden, but it's actually JSU and Mangone. So they're going to take you right up to lock, 6:45 to NBA lock at 7:30 Eastern. So 30 extra minutes today for NBA, 7:30 Eastern lock, and our team will lead you up to lock. And then obviously with NFL playoffs right around the corner, we're going to have a ton of content for the NFL playoffs as well. In the opening, if you guys weren't listening, Tony and I discussed a new piece of content that we released today for our NBA product, and it's basically a cash player pool type sheet. So I'll handle FanDuel most nights, Mangome will handle DK most nights, and it's just going to be the guys that we have in our player pool for cash games. And, we'll have a couple dudes highlighted if they're locks, but you'll be able to kind of get a good feel for where, we're going to be at in terms of building our teams. Tony talked about an opening, you don't only have to use it for cash. If you're a GPP player, you can use it as well. If you have a core of dudes that you really like, and they're going to be kind of contrarian or lower owned, you can kind of come to this cash sheet and lock in more stable plays to pair with them. So I don't know if we're going to pull it back up and just do another little quick preview, right? Should we? I think so.
Yeah. I got it up right now just to show we're going to have the best plays at each position, and then they're going to highlight 3 or 4 plays a day in each site that are going to be the core plays that they're going to have on their teams that they think are the core cash plays of the night. But like we said, in basketball, you don't have to get crazy in basketball. Even me as a tournament player, I like to build the optimal team, what I think is the best team, and then pivot off of it a little bit, find 1 or 2 plays that I think will be low owned. Like tonight, I think Jokic is going to be low owned because of the center value. So by playing Jokic, I kind of get off of some of the other clear-cut value plays. Gets me a little different. I don't have to get that crazy. I can play all these plays on the sheet. It's just I think it's a really good sheet. If anyone wants to, like anything else, we can always – we're always open to whatever, too. We want to give the best possible product to the people. Whatever you guys want, let us know. We'll do our best to do it. But I think this sheet is very, very helpful for the same example we always give. Say you're working the 9 to 5, you're going home, you're playing NBA, you got to make dinner for the family. You got 15 minutes. You come on the site, you check out the news. Okay, let's look. Oh, Detroit, Rose and Griffin are out. Plumlee, Grant, Hayes all get bumps. Kevin Durant's out. Bumps all around. All the news is right here. Read all of this. It'll take you less than a couple minutes. Read all that. Go to the cash chart. Go to the playbook, which gives you a write-up at every single team. AP writes more than enough. Covers the entire game, every angle. If you take 15 minutes, read everything in here, you're going to know the slate inside and out. And then you go to our core plays, which we're going to have up, and they're going to show you the guys we're playing. Everything is on here. Yeah. And so someone in the chat says, can we get a more mobile-friendly website? Yeah, we're doing our best with that. Definitely.
Yeah. I know a lot of people like to use mobile. We're definitely that's at the top of our list to get it more friendly so people can use it on phones and tablets and whatnot. But just to continue on with the piece here, the NBA content, a lot of sites going heavy on the projections. We have projections as well, and I mean they're right in there. I think just as good as any site. But we kind of base our product on taking that next step. Like anyone can go and look at the projections and say, this guy's projected to score X amount of points. That guy's projected. Every site has it. We have it. Every site out there does. This takes it a step further and kind of, takes all that information that's in those projections and, gives our take and our spin on them as well. So it's a good second additional step on top of projections to kind of get you on the right path for the slate. And whatnot. And tonight's slate, I mean, it was a 5-game slate and it's turned into a beast. And I think it's a very, very good slate for tournaments because so many good plays and so many good plays are going to go overlooked because there's just too many dudes to play at every spot, basically in every game. I mean, there's solid plays, I think, in just about every game as well. So it's going to be a fun slate. So let's see where we're at on the likes. You guys still got some work to do. At 130, we got to get to 200. If you like the content that we talked about is Buckets 15, we still got the promo code Buckets 15 to get you the 15% off. Let's hop into it. We're gonna go game by game. We have the Pistons, we have the Hawks. The total 223.5. Atlanta is favored by 10, and they're favored by 10 because no Blake Griffin, no Derrick Rose. So that's going to lead to some of these Pistons guys showing up as really, really good values. But, I mean, honestly, when you hear that Blake's out, when you hear that D Rose is out, you think this is a slam dunk spot. They still have bodies, man. The Pistons still have bodies, and they're willing to use them. Yes, I do think some of these guys are really good, solid value plays. Killian Hayes is going to play a ton of minutes. He's been crappy so far. DeLon Wright's going to get a lot of run. Jeremy Grant's going to get a lot of run. Plumlee, Josh Jackson. Like I said, it's going to be a good spot, but I think the spot's a little overrated, to be honest with you. Looking at projections, like I still like some of these Pistons guys. I'm probably going to play them, but I think it's slightly overrated. I mean, what's your opinion on the Pistons situation tonight?
Yeah, I agree. And honestly, they suck. I mean, I watched the Cavs game the other day. They were up 7 with 2 minutes left. In overtime, they're up 7 again with, however much, 2-3 minutes. They just can't score without these guys. Look at their playmakers. I mean, we keep trying to make Killian Hayes happen, including me. I've played him a few different slates. He's young. I'm not saying he's never going to be good, but right now, like I don't trust him at a price like 4,200 or something. I don't know. Like, sure, you can play him. I'm not saying you can't. I mean, he's on our cash charts. He's definitely in play.
Yeah, he's in play.
But man, you don't feel great about it. Like you're not excited to plug him into your team by any means. You look at all these dudes, like you said, I mean, they're going to go what? 2, 4, 6. They're going to go 10, 11 deep still.
Mm-hmm.
Josh Jackson, similar. Like, I think you can play him for sure. I might even play him, but you don't feel good. I think maybe the guy that sticks out as being low owned to me, that you can help me if I'm wrong, but DeLon Wright, they need a playmaker. They need DeLon Wright to do something. I think I like him more than these other guys.
DeLon Wright and Mason Plumlee are the two that I feel best about. I mean, Mason Plumlee from a
he's expensive.
He's expensive. I agree with you. And I don't think he's gonna, jump into a massive minutes role. But man, is he steady? And maybe it's not enough on the slate. I mean,
6K on FanDuel.
Yeah, I mean, he's just
I'm
gonna
driving
get you
to Detroit and we're wrestling. If you play Mason Plumlee at 6K.
He's just going to get you probably 32, 33 points. And he has, like, if he's out there, he produces, like, and he's going to have an opportunity. I don't know. Like, you
can't play him over like Christian Wood, though.
No, I mean, if you're talking he's not even, they're not close on price.
I mean,
he's center on FanDuel.
Yeah. I mean, Wood's 81, but still, like, man, I don't know. You're playing him on FanDuel, you think?
I think he's in the conversation. Ooh. I mean, refer to the sheet.
I made fun of you about David Johnson yesterday, and he got 30. Maybe
people
play Plumlee tonight.
Yeah. People were getting after you. I let it go though. I mean, I didn't press it, but man, I wish I played more David Johnson. I'll tell you that much.
He just crushed too. Just those holes he was running through in the second half were just. You could drive trucks through there.
Yeah, you would not.
Is that what Plumlee's going to do tonight? Because I want to have the same speech I did yesterday. Like, you can't play Plumlee. He's bad. I've watched him.
The problem is it's now a ceiling slate. You have to be taking these guys' ceilings into consideration. I don't think his ceiling's all that high, but I think his floor is incredibly high. I mean, probably more of a cash play opposed to a tournament play with all these dudes that we have. I mean, I don't know, but I guess overall, I'm just lower on the Pistons than the field. I want to hit up some of these other spots, like way, way more than this Pistons spot. I think there's a lot of uncertainty. Killian Hayes is just projecting off the sheets, and he has been so shitty. Like he hasn't cracked double-digit fantasy points yet. And yes, that's with Blake, and yes, that's with D Rose, and yes, he could have a pretty good game tonight. But man, I'm just lower on these dudes overall.
No, I agree with you completely because I mean, who would you be? Like any of these guys I play, I'm not going to be super excited. Even like Okafor could crush, but I'm not. I'll probably will end up playing. I mean, it's a 5-game slate. We need some value. These guys, they're definitely in play. I don't want people to think I'm saying they're not, but I'd much rather go to other spots we're going to get to. And DeLon Wright, I think I would rank them for me. DeLon Wright, Josh Jackson, then probably Hayes. I think I'm not playing Plumlee. But part of the issue with me for Plumlee is I'm playing Jokic for sure on FanDuel. And on DK, I want to play Jokic and Wood for the most part. I can't play Plumlee over Jokic. Like Jokic is going to go off tonight. So
yeah. I do really like Jokic. I think he's a strong play. Now on the Hawks side, I mean they're honestly equally difficult for myself because they just have so many dudes. And Trae Young, I mean, is phenomenal. I mean, he's been phenomenal so far. I mean, and I think he has a massive game here, and I think he's strongly in play. I mean, I think he's a guy. We talk about some of these guys in the NFL. If you're a GPP type player, it's like he has to be in your player pool. Like he's a guy that you need to get exposure to. I think just about any time he's on the slate. If you're an MME person, like I think you want some Trae Young. Like he can end the night for you if you don't play him. So I think always play him if you're building MME. But outside of that, I mean, Capella's back. That was the news that we had updated on the site. Around 20 minutes, right? That he's going to play. Is that what it was? Mid 20s or just they say 20s?
I was just doing what I told the people to do. I was reading Mangone's notes on here. He said 20 minutes. Yeah, I mean, you're not going to play. I mean, I think his projections around the industry are too high. I think almost. He's priced too high for a guy that's going to play 20 minutes. They don't really have a reason to run him longer than that, anyways. Atlanta's actually, I knew when they signed all these guys, they're going to be surprisingly good because they brought in veteran guys, and their young guys were good last year, like Hunter and Reddish and Porter, and even Rondo's. Is Rondo playing?
I don't think so. I'll pull that up.
He's got a projection in there.
Maybe is.
But point being, anyways, they got a bunch of dudes now. They're not the same Atlanta team that we've seen. And the problem with Trae Young is you can play him every slate. He can end it every slate. But, man, his price is up there. So you need that upside. And tonight with Harden, Jokic, I just can't play. I can't play Trae Young over them, especially against Detroit. They're going to kill this Detroit team. Detroit has no chance to score with these guys. So, for me, I almost want to fade this game completely.
And the one thing to take note of, I mean, you and I talked about it earlier. There's been a ton of blowouts so far. I mean, you look at Christmas Day, five games that essentially turned into blowouts. I don't know what it is, but it is something to monitor. Moving forward. If we continue to see so many, but look at the game that Dallas Clippers game. That is, what was it, 77-27? Like, that is insane. But we've seen these blowouts. Last night, the Lakers just crushed the Timberwolves 30. I mean, there's been a ton of massive blowouts. I agree, man. I think this could be a spot where the Pistons just get effed up and the Hawks just crush them. I mean, seriously.
How do they not get blown out in this game? Unless Atlanta just lays a stinker, which you never know in the NBA. I mean, they could definitely do it. But if Atlanta comes to play, look at this Detroit roster. I mean, this roster is – Mason freaking Plumlee is their top projected dude.
Yeah.
That's not good.
People in the chat are calling for Big D to come back. Remember Big D?
Been gone. He's probably lurking right now.
Yeah, Big D
he out there.
He wanted a title shot. He wanted a shot at Big T.
Then he was a fan though. I won him over.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They all come home, man. They all come home. They can get in that chat. They can say what they want, but we're just too likable of guys. Just nice, friendly dudes. Guys of the people. Everyone just kind of comes around. You just can't hate for too long.
Not let us get ratioed here though. We're at 472 watching. Yeah. We're only at 150 likes. We always got to get to that 50% number. Get us up to if we're at 500. That's what, two?
I said 200 a while ago, and
200. We'll give it at 200. Get to 200. We'll give out some gear. 250. We'll give out more gear. We got to get some likes. You can't let us get ratioed on a double show here.
Yeah, no, let's get these likes, hit the subscribe. The more this channel grows, the more free stuff we'll be putting out. So, it might be a slightly biased opinion, but I think we got the best content in the industry. Maybe it's not biased. I just it's my opinion. So
we're allowed to be biased.
Yes. The more likes we get, the more subscriptions we get, the more free stuff that we'll be rolling out. All right, so the next game is kind of like the premier game on the slate now. The Grizzlies and the Nets. Memphis is favored by 2.5. The total is 226.5. So the big news this morning said Durant's not going to play, and then later this afternoon they added on and said Kyrie's not playing either. And we're going to see a ton of this all season long. I mean, there's just no way around it with the COVID and these stars not wanting to play back. First, why do they still have back-to-backs? Why not just eliminate the back-to-backs? Like, they have an open schedule. They can clearly make it work. Like, why not just eliminate the freaking back-to-backs?
Got to be some reason with, like, travel and stuff.
Yeah, I guess. But it's like...
There's got to be some reason, though, because that they would be doing it if they could.
Because I looked at the Saturday slate. So many teams were on back-to-backs. Yesterday, or Sunday slate, so many teams on back-to-backs. Like, man, it would make the product so much better, but...
Looks like a Gallo might sit now.
Gallinari?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll check on that news and see if we can verify that. But
so
I don't know.
Every day in the chat we do these shows. We're doing shows 5, 6, 7 days a week. My man JoeCon123 still waiting for my gear, Big T. You're on the list. You're on the list, JoeCon, top of the list. I asked you for your info and it came that day I shipped. It came in a hair late.
Hey, here's here's a news flash. Okay, guys, when we give out this gear, Big T is not like leaving from his house as soon as this show's over and going to FedEx and shipping this stuff out. It's about probably once a month, which is reasonable. Like
every 3-4 weeks.
Yeah, 3 to 4 weeks, once a month. You're on the list. You'll get your stuff.
I'm going to ship it to JoeCon though by itself, just because he did. I remember him because he said it every day. He was on the list like the day before, and then I asked him he like did the thing where he said he wants the gear. And he wants to show his bro. He wanted the gear, but he didn't send me his address with the first message. So by the time I got the address, it was too late. I'm making a special trip though, just for the workbench, Joe. I'm going this week for you.
Yeah, Gallo's game time decision. So I don't know. I don't even think that would change anything if he said
it doesn't really. I mean, it makes Bogdan for sure a little bit better of a play for me, but
yeah. So we get the news, like I said, Kyrie and KD both out. That immediately makes these Nets guys priorities on the slate and priorities in a big way. Karis LeVert goes probably the most popular guy on the slate by far. Joe Harris is going to be right there behind him. Then you got other dudes, Shamit, Jeff Green, TLC, Torian Prince, a ton of dudes. The fact this game's still projected to be close, 2.5. I mean, that should tell you something. I mean, you're going to want exposure to this game. Like, there's no way around it. Like, this is, to me, the premier game on the slate. Tons of value plays, tons of different ways to go. Kind of just break down this Nets situation and talk about some of the guys that you're targeting here.
Yeah, so this is the game. I'm glad this is a 7:30 game too, because we should know who's going to start and kind of what direction the team might go. And everyone all day, like everyone's like, oh, bet Memphis. These guys are out. The line hasn't moved. I'd be a little cautious with that because this team still got some players. And I don't know. I kind of like the Nets still in this game, which makes me like, I want to see who the starters are, but Tyler Johnson at 3,100. Torian Prince is for sure my favorite play at 31 because he's been playing a little bit already. Now you take a guy like KD out. I mean, he just has to play. And 3,100 is just a straight misprice. I mean, he'd be 5,100 if this was his role tonight before the slate came out. So Jeff Green, 35. I want a lot of those guys. And then LeVert is just a total lock. I mean, I guarantee over on the chart, I don't have it up anymore, but the chart, I guarantee you LeVert will be colored tonight because he's a lock tonight. There's no way you're not playing LeVert. I think all the cheap guys are in play and LeVert is in play. Where I struggle is guys like DeAndre Jordan, Joe Harris, even Jared Allen for that matter. I know JSU loves Jared Allen, but center's so loaded tonight that I struggle to play Jared Allen as my center, especially if he's coming off. I guess it's okay coming off the bench. I just don't. Center's loaded tonight. I don't want to play him over Wood or Jokic, put it that way.
Yeah, I struggle with that as well. I mean, so many center play and still like the role for Jordan and Allen. I mean, yes, maybe more usage, but I mean, these guys aren't like they just need to be on the court and their playing time is not going to increase. They're still sharing time regardless. All those other guys, massive increase to playing time, ball handling responsibilities without Kyrie and KD. Just doesn't move too much for those dudes. I kind of agree with you. On the Grizzlies side, I mean, man, Moran has been phenomenal to start the season. Fair price tag, really, on both sides. He's in the mid-8s on DK and on FanDuel. Valanciunas has been steady. Dylan Brooks just mispriced on FanDuel. They have him at 3.7K for some reason. That's just a ridiculous price tag. Those are kind of the three dudes I'm looking at. I think they're all strong plays. I think Dylan Brooks, like I said, on FanDuel at 3.7 is a misprice. How are you handling the Grizzlies guys?
I can't even focus because the chat, I'm always a man of the people in here with the chat. I mean, Dean is like just going off about this line move. The Grizzlies line moved 9 points. What do you mean, Big T? Memphis open +7. They're -2 now, Big T. What do you mean? Well, no shit, Dean. They got freaking their two dudes are out. Of course it moved. The line right now reflects the news. That's the whole point. Yeah, if the line was still 7, I'd probably like Memphis. The line has reflected those guys being out. What are you? Hey, Dean, you're a regular. What are you talking about today, my man? And also, Ryan Lacerda, I'll put my RPS swag. I'm about to win on a bet that Big T doesn't want the smoke of hoop in the behind the rim. I mean, let's see a basket right now. You're 2 for 2 on the show.
This is like a lot of
On the
pressure.
spot.
I mean, gosh,
What,
I am
you got
2
no
for 2.
underwear on? Get up and make
No,
a shot.
I'm getting
Let's
in
see
there.
it.
All right, I'll get a shot.
And don't be leaning over this time.
I have to because the roof, the ceiling here.
What's all the roof? Oh, he gets it again.
I mean,
I
just can't miss. I mean, a lot of pressure too. Like, cause I know that the day that I do miss, it's over. Like, I am just getting buried in the chat. I'm getting buried by you.
Your boy has some credit up though. I mean, that's
your boy has
3 now.
Yeah, your boy has ice water in his veins. He just gets up there and he knocks him down.
I built it up that time too. I was talking.
Yeah, I just get up there and do it. I mean, that's all. That's all. The reason I have to lean a little bit because I got the ceiling's not very high there. So like if I don't get it too much arc, if I hit the ceiling on one of those shots, then it's definitely over. Definitely over. Yeah, that is, it's a wet stroke, boys. I mean, your boy gets up there and knocks him down.
You were trying to build in the excuse a little though. You talked about the roof, and you
well, because you're saying I'm leaning. I mean, I mean, there's nothing you can do. I mean, you got to. And yeah, that's 3 for 3. So yeah, I mean, yeah, if I was on this slate, I'd definitely be the 3K value play of the night. I mean, you knocking down jumpers like that, pressure. I mean, that's like a game winner, really. That's like a game winner.
Ray Allen's jumper, Jesus Shuttlesworth hoop. I love it.
I'm just dreading the day.
It's still all over me. Did I say the line didn't move? I don't know what he's talking about. When did I say the line didn't move? Why would the line not move with those 2 out? There's no way I said that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure.
If I did, it came across wrong because there's no way I would say the line didn't move when Kyrie and friggin' Durant are out.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, I'm playing this back. I got to see this. I got to see this jumper. I mean, this shot is.
G Rison is calling you out about the Papa shot. Like G Rison
is actually pretty impressive at Papa
no
shot.
way.
Yeah, I've seen him in Chicago. He knocks him down. I'd like to see. I would definitely like to see Big T versus Scotty.
God, I would love to get G Rison smoke.
I'm telling you, he is pretty impressive. Simon even zoomed in for me. Oh, and your boy. Oh, that was.
Simon zoomed in for you on the butter.
Oh yeah, he was on it. I mean, what a great producer we have. I mean, honestly, Simon, best producer in the industry. I mean, it can't even be close.
There's nothing like that video he did in Vince McMahon's front lawn where he's like up there ringing the. If you guys haven't seen this video, I got to get Simon to post it after he always posts this. This dude, our producer Simon, is in Vince McMahon's front yard, like ready to film this interview. God, it's some good stuff. I got to get him to post that.
Yeah. Simon, absolute legend, just crushes our videos. I mean, such a phenomenal job. Yeah, we were talking about the Grizzlies. Anything on the Grizzlies? Like, who are your favorite Grizzlies here?
So for some reason, whatever reason, John Morant just isn't projecting good this year with all the projection sites, and I don't get it. I
think it's gonna one of those things that they're gonna have to adjust. I mean, honestly.
And
hopefully we can use it to our advantage. I mean, hopefully we can use it to our advantage because he's looked great. But go ahead.
Man, the chat is all over me too about this line move. I can't believe I said I got to rewatch it because I want to hear what my wording was. It had to just be a misspeech because I definitely would have never said that. But if you guys say it, I apologize. I didn't realize I said it. But yeah, John Morant, 8,300 on DK. I think he's a great tournament play. I mean, no one's going to play him. He's shown the upside.
Well, like you said, though, why isn't anyone going to play him? That's what I think he's like.
I think it's just the pricing, like with Harden and Jokic and all these guys. It's just tough to get there. But he's a great play either way. And like another guy, no one's going to play is Joval because there's just no possible way you can play him on a Jokic slate with value guys there. Even like Plumlee. I don't like Plumlee, but I can't play Joval over Plumlee even. I don't think he's just expensive for what he brings to the table.
Yeah. What about Dylan Brooks? Like I said, 3.7 on FanDuel is crazy price. Like he has 5.5 on DK. It's probably a little bit harder.
We got to circle back to the chat now because I'm rattled about this line. That's what I said. The dude in there, he brought it up. He's going to get some gear too, Colin Furyk, because I know this is what I said. I said the line is still at -2, and I kind of like the Nets. That doesn't mean it was never somewhere else. It means implying like it's still -2. Not that it didn't move. So yeah, it might have sounded wrong, but I was just saying that it could be
the
higher.
Grizzlies are still the Grizzlies are still only favored by 2, despite those other dudes being out.
Not that it never moved. I just, of course, I knew it moved. You guys got me rattled here. I never get rattled.
Colin, you gotta get those likes up. But I mean, if we can get those likes to 200, you get the gear. I mean, you had Big T's back. You cleared up the situation. So reach out to Tony or info at Run Pure Sports. What are we at for? Yeah. So yeah, keep hitting that like button. If we get up to 250, we'll give out another piece as well. I said I liked all the games on the slate, but I may have misspoken because we have the Jazz and we have the Thunder. 218 total. Utah is favored by 9. The first show we did, we kind of said we're not going to be really on the Utah Jazz unless there's an injury or something on their team, and I'm going to kind of stick with that early on in the season, especially on this slate. I can't imagine really clicking anyone's name. The only guy I have interest in would be Bogdanovich on FanDuel. He's still like 4.6K or 4.7K power forward eligible. He's cheap. I think Gilgeous-Alexander is in play a little bit as well. But outside of that, I'm probably off this game.
Yeah, and it's kind of nice because we're playing the football slate too, and you always got to pay attention to news and stuff. But this game starts right around when the football game starts. And I don't really think anyone's in play. Like, I thought this Theo Maledon dude was in play early in the day before we got all this Nets news, just because of the value. I mean, he was 3,100. He does get enough to where he should be able to pay off that tag, but you don't need it anymore with the Brooklyn news. So
yeah,
he's out of play. I really don't see – I'm never playing Shea on this slate. And then the Utah side, I mean, Gobert's probably a little underpriced. Mitchell's probably a little underpriced, but I'm just not playing it. I agree with you. There's no way I can go there.
Yep. All right, we'll make it easy. We'll move on to the next
one. We got Okafor out, and then that Doumbia is a game-time decision.
Oh, you're going to be coming around to my boy Plumlee. I can see it.
No, I'm definitely not.
I can see it. So Okafor's out as well.
I will never play Mason Plumlee at 6K, mark my words. Yeah, I just can't do it.
It's kind of big news, actually. I mean,
so Isaiah Stewart is the backup. Dwayne Casey says we'll do it by a committee. Mason, Isaiah, and maybe some Siku.
Yeah, I mean, the Pistons still scare me. I don't care how many guys are out. It's just I could see them getting just dominated.
How do they not get blown out? Like, we got to go over to the bet side. If you're not on the bet side, definitely check it out. But we got to get some action on Atlanta. No way Atlanta's not blowing this team out. This team sucks.
Yeah, brutal. Yeah, Pistons, tough spot tonight. Tough spot. Rockets, Nuggets, totals 222. Denver's favored by 6.5 in this game. And then the big news, obviously, here is John Wall still out, DeMarcus Cousins still out, and Eric Gordon is out as well. We saw Harden just go off. I mean, everyone too fat to do it. He's out of shape. Shoved it up everyone's put up 44 and 17, looked better than ever. Going to have the same usage here tonight. I mean, tougher matchup, obviously, against Denver, but, man, it's hard not to play Harden. It's hard not to play Wood. They did price up the value guys a little bit more. I mean, last time Nwaba was the stone min at 3K. Sterling Brown was 3.2. They got those guys up to 3.7. They got those guys. They got Sterling Brown up to 3.9. It looks like House is 4.8. So they're not the free squares that they were last time out. But man, it's hard not to look up Harden and Christian Wood here again, and they look so good.
Yep, I mean, they look elite, and it's just such a nice combo to play Jokic, play Harden, play Christian Wood, and just enjoy the game, because Harden's always destroyed the Nuggets.
Yeah,
it just looks really good. So someone in the chat says, "What's the green on the cash charts?" That's the core. That's the best plays.
Yeah.
if they have them in green, because green means money. That you're going to win them the money off those plays. So
Yep.
that's what green means.
And
But
that's exactly why I did green. I made my first highlight and I said we're going with that neon green. So it's going to
Only way to
stick.
do it.
And yeah, so you won't see in the core play section, you won't see cash cores listed anymore. Everything cash related is going to be on that sheet. We're going to have all the players in the player pool, which will be updated, based on news. And then the highlights will come in, and those are the guys that we think are the cores. So can also use it for GPPs though too, like we talked about. I mean, you can definitely, those are most likely the top value plays on the slate listed there, and then kind of our little twist on it. So that's can be used in a lot of different ways. Anyone else in this game? That's what I'm struggling with in this game. Like I like Harden, I like Wood, I like Jokic a ton. But
So-
Porter's up to 6'5", Millsap, I mean, low floor is at 5'3". Jamal Murray kind of slow start to the season so far. The one dude I will bring up, this Jashawn Tate dude, he played a ton last game. 37 minutes. 37. And he's 4.1K. I actually like him quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely played a lot, but man, he seems like a guy that should be cheaper than 41. I don't know. He was, I'm sure he was min price or close to min price last game.
Yeah, had to have been.
I mean, I don't know. Like, he's fine. I just don't think you need it on this slate. The good part about this slate, we have so many good early guys that you can kind of just backload with the studs and just go with that. I mean, I don't see anyone else for Houston that I could play. Like you said, they got price bumps. Denver, you could definitely, like, MPJ got benched again last game, but this is a good matchup for him against Houston.
Why the hell does he keep getting benched? I mean, is the dumb? It is so
benched
dumb.
for so long last game too.
It is so dumb. Honestly, it's like so stupid. Like Malone, I'm not doing Malone rants this year. I'm just not doing it. But it just makes no sense. It literally makes no one else does that to their players. Like, and it's frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the rest of the team too. I don't see anything else that sticks out. I mean, Jamal Murray, I will say he was awful in the first game, awful in the first half the other night, and then he finally got it going in the second half. And I don't think people really noticed. Like, no one is going to play him tonight, going back and forth with Harden. I think he's a very, very good tournament play tonight. He got it going last game, and no one realized it. So if you want a lone guy that could win you this slate, I think Jamal Murray could easily do that. And that's a good example of a play that won't be on the cash sheet. Play Jamal Murray, play a Michael Porter Jr. type plays, and then go to the cash sheet and work off that. So I don't know. Like,
I will say, prior to all the news, I did have Jamal Murray on the cash sheet for FanDuel at 7.1K. But with all the news,
more on FanDuel too than DK.
Yeah. With all the news,
sucks on FanDuel a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, you have if you trust Hayes, which I'm definitely not sold on Hayes. He's definitely there. Lillard's 9.4, Morant is 8.5. Murray's 7.1. I mean, maybe he still is in the conversation a little bit. I think you could play him in cash, to be honest with you. I mean, I'll have to double check some things, but yeah, point guard's not. If you're not sold on Hayes, it's kind of a wide open position.
I don't want to play Hayes. And you got good values other spots. Like shooting guard, besides Harden, you have a couple really good shooting guard values. Small forward, you got some good values. Power forward, you got some values and some studs. Center, you got a stud. I mean,
Hayes has
you don't need it.
Hayes has 8.7 fantasy points and 7.6 fantasy points.
He looked bad doing it,
and it did not look pretty. So
his shot is not it. Like, it's not the one. His shot looks really rough. And
no, it's no hoop shot on the Papa shot. I can tell you that.
No, yours looks way better. Close. I agree. Willie Mays Hayes, G Rising says that's true. That's what his jump shot looks like. Willie Mays Hayes.
Oh, all right. Last game here. We have the Trailblazers. We have the Lakers. Lakers on a back-to-back after just steamrolling the Timberwolves last night. Lakers favored by 4. The total is 226. And, Anthony Davis is going to play. Haven't heard anything on LeBron. The longer we go on without hearing anything about LeBron, kind of leads me to believe that he does play. They smoked the Timberwolves last night, so he didn't play at all in the fourth quarter, limited minutes. Lakers typically pretty good with the news. They usually get it out ahead of time, and we haven't heard anything yet. So I'm starting to think he plays. I mean, do you have any read on that situation?
To me, like, I've just have ignored it because
Yeah.
I don't really care. Like,
Yeah.
it sounds bad, but I guess I would care if, like, they both somehow sat. You would have to play some of these other guys, but I'm not playing. Even if LeBron's out, I'm not going to play AD over Harden or Jokic. I don't think so.
Yeah.
It just doesn't feel. I just don't need it. I guess just not on this slate. Sure, if we got the news, I would definitely consider AD, but it's the late game too. I'm telling you, this year I'm always going to be a little more nervous about only one late game. Like if there's one island game, just because you just never know. Just who knows what could happen? He gets a fever or something and they don't let him play. You just don't know in the COVID era.
The Trailblazers, I mean, Carmelo he's out with the COVID. So, I mean,
yeah. There's just extra risk. Like if you get to that late game and your dude gets scratched or the game gets scratched, which could happen a lot this year, there's just no reason to do it when you have Harden and Jokic. So say this is what you can do too to get exposure to it. Like who knows, maybe at the last second Jokic gets rolled out or something. Then you pivot back into AD or something, which is the decisions you have to make. But like I don't see any reason you need to play Lakers on this slate. There's other studs that we like, even John Morant and these guys I like probably more. So for me, I think it's a super easy fade. If LeBron sits, I mean Kuzma's 6K, Schroeder 6K. Harrell is seriously 7,500. Is that real?
Yeah, that's a tough price tag. I mean, that's
7,500.
Yeah, he's up there. I think he's a little cheaper. Let's see what he is on FanDuel.
Those are the prices that you just look at and you're like, there is no. I'm contrarian and I couldn't play him.
Yeah, 6.2 on FanDuel. So if you want to play Harrell, get over on FanDuel. I wouldn't pay. Yeah,
is
that's
center though.
Center, yeah, it's a loaded position, so it's tough.
Kyle
Kuzma, I mean, he's 4.2K on FanDuel. He looked amazing last night.
You can definitely play him if LeBron's out.
Yeah, and I think he's kind of have to imagine they use him. They gave him the contract. He looked really good. I think he continues to get run. The 4.2 I think is too cheap, even if LeBron does play. So he's a good play over there. On the Trailblazers side, like I said, Carmelo is out. Should present a very stable role for Derek Jones Jr., who is already playing minutes. 4K on DK, under 4K on FanDuel. Covington, he's already playing a lot of minutes. Hasn't really done much though this season. I mean, played 38 minutes last game, 24 fantasy points. He'll continue to play a lot of minutes. I think he's interesting. Dame, I mean, they got him way up there. I mean, he's 10-3 on DK. Like you said, you got Harden right there. You got Jokic right there. I can't play him over those guys. On FanDuel, more in plays, 9.4K. We said we don't love point guard all that much. I think he's more in the conversation over on FanDuel. Nurkic, I do like quite a bit. Center is loaded, so you're going to have to, make some tough choices there, but he's 6'8" on DK. He's also 6'8" on FanDuel. The 6'8" on FanDuel, I think is it's a little more appealing with how everything's structured over there. Talk to me about the Trailblazers and any interest in these guys.
I'm super low on the Blazers this year in general. I just don't.
Yeah.
Derek Jones on FanDuel at 3,600. That's another nice thing about the cash sheet is you can kind of see how Derek Jones would be way more in play on FanDuel than DK. DK, he's only 4K, but that feels a lot higher on DK than 3,600, which is only a 400 difference to the eye. It's just a way better price on FanDuel.
You got to take the structure into consideration, and the 3,600 on FanDuel, that's $100 above the minimum. The minimum price on FanDuel is 3.5K. On DK, the minimum price is 3K. So that's his 4K price tag is $1,000 above the minimum. $100 above the minimum on FanDuel. He's a strong play there.
Yep, I agree, and he's going to play good minutes. Dame, I can't really see myself playing Dame on a full slate. Maybe ever until his price comes back down. 10.3K is too high when you have CJ McCollum that wants to soak up some of that guard usage too. You never know when Nurkic is going to have a big game too. there's no possible, if Dame ever goes off on a slate like this, I'm just going to lose because I am never, ever playing Dame in this spot, ever. I couldn't even imagine playing, even on FanDuel where point guard's less. So that's what I'm saying about Jamal Murray for me on FanDuel. I just can't, like, if I got John Morant, 8,500, Trae Young, 9,800, I can't play Dame over those guys. I like those guys more. I think Trae is a way better play than Dame, but I'm kind of looking at Ja and Jamal as my FanDuel duo. I kind of like that combo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, Jamal Murray presents like a nice price break. I mean, your 7-1 is just a little bit more than the average roster spot. So I think maybe I'll probably add him back into that cash sheet because I think, you're looking at different builds with him opposed to paying up. He's just kind of in a price tier of his own at 7-1, like I said, a little bit higher than the average roster spot. A lot of things you can do if you just play him at point guard. And this is a situation if you're not sold on Hayes. Like if you're sold on Hayes and you think he's a great value play and whatnot, then you just play him and you pick one of these other dudes. But Tony and I'm not sold on the dude. Like he's clearly obviously in play because the situation the Pistons are in tonight, but just not sold on him. He's not looked good. So, that brings guys like Jamal Murray a little bit more in play.
I think Jamal has upside too. Like when you're playing dudes at 9,800, like Trae Young, 90, I don't necessarily think they have a ton of upside. I think Jamal Murray has 50-point upside at 7K, which is nice upside. So I think it's a good play. The dude in chat, Casey, says, does Big T ever pop a windmill post workbench? I mean, if I get a good session in and make it like outside the 10 minutes where I'm getting it done, then maybe I'll finish with a little windmill.
Yeah, but if you go that deep, though, I mean, are you really going to have the energy to do that windmill?
Sometimes you got that last little burst, though. Just as you're getting home, you just
yeah, kind of just walk it in there, right? Walk it in.
Yeah, just like you're walking in a putt. Like when you know it's almost over, you just start swinging it.
Yeah, when you know you've sealed the deal, you can start the celebration a little early. So, no Covington for you. He's just been hum-ho. I mean, Nurkic, like you said, you're kind of on other centers. So, yeah, I guess this game you really don't have all that much interest in.
And it sounds lazy, but it's just easier to not worry about that late game when you just don't know. There's other good plays everywhere. I don't need it. I'm not going to force a mediocre. If I love to play, then I would play it without a doubt. But I don't. There's no reason to force it in the late. I'd rather force it in an earlier game than force it in the late game when you don't have any other options later on.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, I think that does make some sense. And these prices, I mean, outside of Nurkic, the prices aren't all that great on DK. You said some of them are a little better on FanDuel, specifically Derrick Jones Jr. All right. Yeah, we need. Okay, so we have to.
Who's Maurice Green? What am I? They said I said the lock of the night was Maurice Green. The UFC guy? Who's Maurice Green? Who am I missing?
Yeah, I'm not sure on that.
I don't know.
Who was the workbench play yesterday, by the way?
Who
was the workbench play of the day yesterday for NFL?
Kareem Hunt. He sucked.
Yeah. He's 0 for 2. Okay, we're gonna give you two chances.
No, it wasn't a total loss. He got like 15.
Yeah, that's not workbench worthy. You got
two. It was like it was like a 2-minute session.
No, that's not. We're not taking. That's not acceptable.
You took a victory lap with like a 10 to 1 week.
Yeah, but you're talking about like a 3K dude, and you said he was worse than the other guy. It was Corey Davis.
My guy was the 3K dude.
Yeah. Anyhow, you're going to get a chance to redeem yourself here, right? You're going to get 2 opportunities. So we need the workbench play of the day for the Showdown NFL slate, and then we need the workbench play of the day.
You got me going back to the football.
Yep. You're gonna get us back. We're gonna get back to even on the workbench plays here, right? You got the NFL Showdown workbench play of the day, and then we're gonna get the NBA main slate workbench play of the day. Whatever order you want, you can go for it.
Yeah, I mean, the football is going to be easy because there's one play we both agree on, too, that's just the best play of the night for us. Obviously, I could say Josh Allen, but that's not what we do on here. We challenge ourselves with the workbench play. We don't go into the bar and just pick the first 5 that comes our way. We wait for the 10 on this show. We wait for it. So even if our chances, we may get shut down by the 10. We may go up and spit our game and just get shut down. but we at least shoot the shot on this show. So we're not giving Josh Allen. We're going with Gabe Davis tonight as our NFL workbench play.
Love it.
And then, and while I'm getting ready to talk about the NBA, Joe Con, who's going to get the gear for the special trip, Hoop took a victory lap on Golden Tate. I mean, that was laughable, Joe Con. The dude caught a 25-yard touchdown with 3 seconds left on a hip ball.
He was in the winners. I mean, he was in the
take a freaking victory lap.
He was. It's all in relation to the slate, and he was on the winner. I mean, he was on the winners for the most part. So I mean, yeah, I will take the victory lap. And like I said before, it cost me like $100,000 actually when he did that, because I was winning all the tournaments. So it was a painful victory lap to take, but I got to do it. I'm sorry.
Man, so the basketball again, like my 3 favorite plays of the night are those studs like Jokic, Harden, and Wood. But since like I just gave that speech and we got to challenge ourselves a little bit, I talked up Jamal Murray. I'm going to go with Jamal Murray. He looked good the second half.
Yeah,
I think he's a good workbench play, because if he has a big game, gets 50, you're bringing the trim to the workbench later this evening.
That's always the goal. So we have a little Jamal Murray, Gabe Davis tag team action. They're getting it done. They're getting it done on the bench
back
tonight.
to back. They're going back to back on the bench.
A little tag team action, We'll do the little high five on top, and getting it both done at the same time. Yeah. Those are the plays. Lock them in. This is a fun show. I'm glad we did the combo show. Like I said, on your way out, if you haven't done so already, hit the like, hit the subscribe button so you can follow us on more of our shows. Gallinari ruled out, like we said, just officially ruled out, but it doesn't change much for me. Still got that bucket or that code buckets15 at checkout, 15% off for life. If you want to check out our gear, we have the new, not our gear, our content. We have that new piece of content, the cash game sheet, kind of like the player pool, cash game player pool type thing, and then highlights with our core plays as well. So get on over there, check it out, buckets15. All right, we're gonna get on out of here. So for Big T, I'm Hoop. Good luck to everyone tonight in your contests.